to make one of them.
Register now at racecaribbean.net. Sponsored by the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture, and Heritage, Ministry of Tourism and Transport, Cayman National Bank, Davenport Development, Coca-Cola, Water Authority Cayman, Logic, Cree Global, Cayman Rehab Services.
Now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Everywhere.
Can you hear me now? Everywhere. Everywhere.
Yes, right from your Android or iPhone. Download the Radio Cayman app now on your Android or iOS phone.
The Radio Cayman app
is where you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere you go.
Everywhere we go, we go. Everywhere we go, we go.
Find it in the Google Store, the Apple Store, or use the link at www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Yes, now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Ort Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees so fair. Today is the 10th day of June 2022, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. I hope and I trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, whether you're a pedestrian or a cyclist, or if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle, we urge you to please, please, please be extremely cautious. Remember to observe the rules of the road, and by so doing, then the life you save may be your own. I also want to remind you that this segment of For the Record from 7:30 until 7:45, where we also do our birthday, our new birthday shout-outs, and the birthday shout-outs are proudly brought to you by life insurance agents Michael Webster and Randall Lawson from Cayman Insurance Center. They want to remind you that don't take chances with your family's future. And we have a belated birthday greeting here this morning as well. And Mr. Jeffrey Woods advised us that his son, Alan Woods, was 21 years old yesterday. He will be graduating from UCCI and with the highest, he will be graduating with the highest honors, summa cum laude, On the 25th of June, he will be graduating with a bachelor's degree in accounting and finance, and he's also the valedictorian as well. So there are some persons in the studio, I won't call their names yet, who I'm sure would have recognized the name of Mr. Alan Woods this morning, and we want to congratulate him. And on Wednesday, his father also advised us that he's already secured a job with one of the big accounting firms in the Cayman Islands as well. So that is excellent. So again, belated happy birthday greetings to Mr. Alan Woods. And want to remind you, if you have any birthday greetings, we like to shout them out during this particular time, and I will give you the details in terms of where you can send those shout outs as well. For those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to express our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing to you as well. Those of you who are ill, whether you're at home or at an overseas facility, we wish you a speedy recovery as well. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and, by extension, For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Art Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. You can call us on a toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at For the Record, one word, For the Record, at candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261, where you can send us a text message or leave us a voice note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And of course, you can just simply follow us on YouTube, and you do that by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. This morning, we have in the studio with us panelists from the Committee for the Promotion of Research and Cayman Scholarship in the studio with us. That the panelist is comprised of Dr. Livingston Smith, Dr. Stephanie Fullerton Cooper, no stranger to Radio Cayman, Miss Teresa Pitcairn, I would call her Miss T, and also no stranger to the studio or to the Cayman Islands, Mr. Mario Ebanks. Folks, good morning. Welcome to For the Record, and we'll go around the table and have you first say some introductory words as well, and we will start with Dr. Stephanie Fullerton Cooper.
Well, good morning. Thank you so much for having us. I just want to say good morning, Cayman. We are, as has been introduced, the CPRCS, which is the Committee for the Promotion of Caymanian Scholarship and Research. And our aim, like our title says, is to promote new ideas, deep and critical thinking, to really advance academia and scholarship with a focus on Cayman in the Cayman Islands. We also want to pull our young, brilliant minds along. We have a real interest in advancing the thinking of Cayman's youth. Like I said, promote lifelong learning. And we want to talk with you today, especially about a book launch that we're having next week. And as we go along in the conversation, we'll hear some more about that.
Excellent. Thank you. Ms. T.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning to the listening audience as well, locally and internationally. And for some of the show's all-time favorites, a special shout-out. I was invited by Liv and Roy sometime in the middle of last year to, discuss whether or not, it would be possible to compile all of the essays that were shared at the symposium and compile them, put them together, and see, if this is something that the community would have an appetite for. I thought it was a brilliant idea. Roy's work, as you know, and I'll share a quote that I shared yesterday on another platform, because I think it speaks to the way I actually see his work. And it invites us as a community, and I think invites us, this committee, as a challenge to raise new questions, new possibilities, to regard old problems from a new angle, requires creative imagination, and marks real advancement of community. For Einstein, he said science, and I just replaced that with community. This is a committee, I believe, and I hope my colleagues will share that thought, that can fill a certain gap in our community. I'm thinking that it's going to remain nonpartisan, and in as much as it's populated primarily by folks in the academia, my good friend here, Stephanie, and the good doctors. But I think Mario and I almost said Dr. Adams, because I even feel that Mr. Billy is worthy of being a doctorate as well. He is so, he adds that flavor to this group. But myself, Mario, and Mr. Billy, to bring different perspective. And what we want to do is pull in these strands together and see what we can create and talk about things that's challenging. I made a note this morning when I was coming in, as I was sharing with you, OC. I had to put it in my phone because I think this too captures, and I'm sharing all of this because I have to run.
Yes.
Because again, too, it touches on the things that Roy speaks of and so on. Roy's work is, and as these essays, I think, depict, are as diverse and complex and as compelling and provocative, gutsy, because they're grappling Caymanian cultural, social, and economic tensions and the interconnectedness. And Caymanian community is now less willing to tolerate high-handedness, and it's becoming increasingly more critical of undemocratic concentrations of power, whether it's our government ministers, whether it's in the civil service, whether it's in the corporate community, or whether it's in the police. So what we're now seeing is a tendency for greater inequality and injustice in relationships between different classes or marginal populations, and strengthening their demand for equal rights. And that is something that I think we see it coming. Yesterday I talked about Michelle Obama's becoming, and we see our community becoming. What can this committee do to actually assist in lessening some of the tensions through inviting conversations with all folks? We don't have to always agree, but we will respect each other and listen and learn. So that's in my mind. And of course, I also said to them, for me personally, this is about our children and our grandchildren, and that's why I want to participate.
Okay, thank you, Ms. T. Dr. Smith.
Thank you, OC. So the Committee for the Promotion of Research and Cayman Scholarship, we want to have, symposia, conferences, and other methods like that to introduce new ideas. We want to deepen critical thinking on the issues of the day, and especially we want to add to the growing body of academic literature on Cayman. The committee aspires to contribute to academic research, and as my colleague mentioned, to mentor potential Caymanian writers. And if we were to do this, we hope that we can make a contribution to the development of these islands. So all the persons here, OC, are members of this committee, but some were not able to be here, including Ms. McKenna Scott, who is a PhD candidate at Temple University in the U.S., Ms. Latoya Francis, who, by the way, is a graduate of London School of Economics, and also Dr. Kadisha Swearing, who is not here this morning. But also we're here to talk about this book and the launch that's going to be next week, Tuesday. And I want to spend some time talking about what is in the book, what led to it, and why it's important that we have a good turnout next week for persons to get a copy of this very important book.
Excellent, excellent. Mr. Mario.
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for having us and Radio Cayman as well. And good morning to all the listeners. We're very happy to be here. I'm very happy to be a part of this committee, the Committee for the Promotion of Research and Cayman Scholarship. I joined the committee last year, and the first, incentive or first enticement for me was when they were having this symposium. And so I was asked to do a paper. And as you know, just coming off of the election campaign last year, I had a lot of material, that I didn't get a chance to talk about or to explore fully because of the shortness of the campaign. And so I had a lot of stuff to get off my chest in relation to human capital development and human resources and labor and reform. So I decided to put a lot of the unfinished work that I didn't get to discuss in the campaign trail in my paper, which is in the book. But it is a dynamic committee, and the reason why we are all involved is that we want to elevate the level of discussion and debate in our country. And it doesn't mean that it has to be strictly academics, academicians or intellectuals or the elite. It's for anybody who wants to come in to have discussion and debate and thought leadership. So that's what motivated me to join. That's what we're all about. And like I said, today we want to talk about our launch next week of the book, and also some of the papers perhaps. But it's great that you're having us, because your show is the premier show, and certainly glad to be here this morning.
Okay, great to have you all.
And OC, before we go any further, I hope it's okay if we were to give you a copy of this book.
Certainly.
I'm going to call it Mystery for
you. Really think
Dr. Stephanie.
Okay. What we're going to do, we're going to take a commercial break, and then when we return, we can have that presentation as well. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Great.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
The 1700s proved to be a very important century to the Cayman Islands. Permanent settlement of Grand Cayman began with a few families, most notably the Boddens. Between 1734 and 1742, 5 land grants in Grand Cayman were made by the governor of Jamaica. At this time, mahogany and logwood were exported to Jamaica. In 1780, William Eden, a mariner and early English settler, established a cotton and mahogany plantation in Savannah's Pedro Bluff and built St. James, now known as Pedro St. James Castle, a remarkable building for that period and the only house on Grand Cayman to survive a devastating hurricane of 1784. In 1794, the wreck of the 10 sails occurred, and Cayman's most popular legend of how the island became tax-free was born. In 1798, the governor of Jamaica appointed the first magistrate in Cayman.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctor's Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross now at Vamt Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vamt Motors, Walkers Road.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom-designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
Hi, I'm life insurance agent Michael Webster.
And I am Randy Lawson from Cayman Insurance Center.
Proud sponsors of the birthday shoutouts on For the Record.
Whether you're another year older or just a year wiser,
making sure your family is protected is a pretty wise choice. I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
And I am Randy Lawson at 322-2145. Give us a call today to find out how you can better secure your family's future.
Cayman Insurance Center, protecting you and your family so you can take back your future.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, some of the members of the Committee for the Promotion of Research and Cayman Scholarship. They are Dr. Livingston Smith, Dr. Stephanie Fullerton Cooper, Miss Teresa Pitcairn, and Mr. Mario Ebanks. And as we pointed out earlier, Miss Teresa has to leave us at 8 o'clock, and she wants to do a book presentation, so I'm going to come off the mic very quickly for a second, coming off the mic for her to make that presentation.
No, OC's coming off the mic because he wanted a little schmuggins, a little bit of hugs. So I said to him, you know, OC like Dr. Macfield, and by Dr. Macfield, let me be specific with Dr. Steve Macfield, who was who was provided with an honorary doctorate. I think that OC is one of those candidates, and I'm sharing it now for you folks, you know, to let you guys know with the level of contribution and how you have edified, not educated, edified this community with this show. As I was saying to you, Dr. Liv, OC is one of those rare persons that, like you and I, are up at 4 o'clock in the morning sending me these little emails saying that, T, have you seen this gazetted thing about constitutional reform? What are they doing in this community? I so love what you have done, what you have contributed, and you are so deserving of this. And this is a small token of how we value you, how we appreciate you, and what you're doing. Is that okay?
That's fine. Thank you. Thank you all very much.
You're very welcome.
For this. Okay, who wants to grab the mic now?
Could I just say that the
Sure.
book that you just received, Mr. OC, is the publication, which we'll talk a bit more about. But one of the on the back of the book, it talks about the book, and just briefly it says, this path-breaking work features the most comprehensive collection of writings ever assembled on the Cayman Islands, contributed by a diverse group of academics, educators, business professionals, cultural practitioners, creative writers, scientists, and public servants. Their writings cover the entire gamut of Caymanian affairs, including its history, politics, economy, culture, education, the law, literature, and the environment. So what you have holding in your hand now is really a masterpiece,
yes.
And we're very happy that we could present one to you, and we'll do some others, coming days, but on Tuesday at our launch, the book will be available, will be launched, and we will be selling it for $25 CI, which is a great deal.
Yeah, that's
and the authors,
it's a giveaway.
Yes, and the authors will be there also, including Dr. Roy Bodden, J. Roy Bodden to sign it as well. So we're very proud of the publication.
Okay. Well, we still have a little time. We can give some of our audience in another 4 or 5 minutes a little tease in terms of the book itself and some of the contributors. Dr. Smith?
Right. So just to give some more context, OC, remember that last year, around June maybe, we had the symposium. In academia, what we say is that sometimes when somebody who is a well-known intellectual has, done some tremendous work, and other persons decide to show him some respect for that work, and they present papers, their own papers, of course, but which at points critique what that person has done.
Right.
So each paper is a distinctive paper. Each writer has done their own work, their own examination. All right, but it is really in honor of this person because Mr. Bodden has written a lot. I can't think of anybody else really who has written as many books as Mr. Bodden has written. Just to refresh our memories of some of the books he has written, for example, The Cayman Islands in Transition: The Politics, History, and Sociology of a Changing Society. Stories My Grandfather Never Told Me, A Gathering of Old Men, Patronage, Personalities and Parties, Cayman in Politics from 1950 to 2000, From God House to the Glass House, One Man's Journey Through the Maze of Cayman in Politics, and so on. And the idea here is that this is quite a superb capturing of local issues within an international context. And some persons don't realize how important it is that nation building is not just building, all these
edifices.
Yes. It's really also documenting your history and your circumstances and building that kind of identity, which is crucial also as part of nation building. So this book is an outcome of that symposium. And it really, as Maria mentioned, is a diverse collection of papers. I think it's an extremely good resource for research and for persons who want to be in the know about different issues. All right. So the launch is next week, Tuesday, at UCCI in the Sir Vassar Johnson Hall. We're going to talk later on about the guest speaker who will be coming down to give a speech at the launch. And it's just $25 because we got sponsorship. The government of the Cayman Islands, the ministries of education, culture, tourism, all chipped in to help us to defray the costs. And we also have gotten help for Tuesday's launch from Foster's and Subway.
Great.
All right. So we can, and we're going to give copies to the libraries across the island, and to make sure that it is out there and add to the conversation.
Excellent. Okay, so we're going to take our break for our 8 o'clock news. Folks, please stay tuned. When we return, the conversation with Dr. Livingston Smith, Dr. Stephanie Fullerton Cooper, Miss Teresa will be leaving us. Mr. Mario Ebanks will be here as well, and we will have some folks joining us by phone also. So don't change that dial. Stay tuned. As soon as we return from our 8 o'clock news, the conversation will continue.
Radio Cayman time check now 7:59. This time check is brought to you by our friends at Foster's.
Start preparing for this year's hurricane season, and Foster's has the essentials you need to weather a storm.
Stock up on canned goods, non-perishable foods, water, health and first aid items, pet supplies, flashlights, and other hurricane kit essentials.
Start preparing now using our online hurricane guide and emergency checklist. Just head to fosters.ky for more info. You can also follow us at Foster's Cayman on Facebook and Instagram for helpful tips throughout the season.
Foster's, better because we care.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the
the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. The Premier updates Parliament on Thursday on the situation in the British Virgin Islands.
The UK has decided to maintain the operation of the BVI Constitution, thereby continuing representative democracy through the Government of National Unity.
The Honourable Wayne Panton says he and other overseas territories' heads of government were updated via conference call at the invitation of the Right Honourable Amanda Milling, the UK representative with responsibility for the overseas territories. The British Virgin Islands Premier was arrested in Florida on drug trafficking and money laundering charges. He was removed from office, and the remaining three political parties joined forces to become the Government of National Unity.
The decision at this time is not, I repeat, not to suspend or partially suspend the BVI's constitution. Mr. Speaker, this decision reflects a commitment to democracy and maintaining the dignity of the people of the British Virgin Islands by allowing the Government of National Unity to pursue the implementation of the governance recommendations of the Commission of Inquiry report.
Mr. Panton says he has communicated Cayman's support for the BVI and willingness to assist the new government there in achieving its governance objectives. A snapshot of the epidemiological week 22 shows a decline in the number of COVID positives. Radio Cayman's April Cummings has more.
This week's Public Health Spotlight says the number of new cases reported in week 22 decreased by 23% from 566 to 437 cases. The daily average of new positives fell to 62 from 81, a reduction of 23%. While the number of new cases has fallen, the test positivity rate has remained stable at 25% in epidemiological week 22, as the number of PCR tests conducted has decreased by 20% from 2,279 to 1,814. 7 new admissions to 2 local hospitals were registered during Epi Week 22, a slight increase over the prior week, where 5 new admissions were reported. A total of 12 patients required inpatient treatment, 2 more than the prior week. During Epi Week 21, a total of 53 children received the pediatric COVID-19 vaccine, 19 of those first doses and 34 second doses, bringing the total number of vaccines given to children over the past 2 weeks to 182. The report also highlights continued monitoring of monkeypox internationally, noting there are no known cases of the virus in the islands. As we reported previously, Public Health has sent a sample of a young patient with apparent chickenpox to the Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARFA, for testing, out of an abundance of caution. April Cummings, Radio Cayman News.
And conservation efforts continue as Cayman participates in Plant a Tree for the Jubilee. Details from CIGTV's Donna Bush.
The Ministry of Sustainability and Climate Resiliency recently hosted a native sea and plant giveaway in support of the Plant a Tree for the Jubilee. Native saplings were extracted and transplanted from the planned Linford-Pearson Highway extension. The ministry gave away more than 150 native saplings and seedlings free of charge, as well as approximately 230 packets of mahogany, strawberry, and cabbage seeds collected from local trees by volunteers. Now, more than 230 trees are now pinned on the digital map, including 44 in the Sister Islands. The ministry's chief officer, Jennifer Ahern, said the response from the public was impressive, with more than 100 people taking time out of their busy weekend to attend the native seed and plant giveaway, which they hope will be the first of several.
Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Debbie Ratz. The authorities in Mariupol say conditions are getting worse under the current Russian occupation. The Ukrainian city's deputy mayor said there was a risk of diseases such as cholera spreading, as the occupiers were unable to deal with the scale of the humanitarian crisis. The Ukrainians say fierce fighting is continuing in Severodonetsk, the eastern city Russia is trying to conquer. They say the defenders are holding on, and a strategic road linking Severodonetsk to nearby towns is in Ukrainian hands. A South Korean lorry drivers' strike is starting to have a big impact on the country's economy. The movement of goods at the largest container port in Busan is down by up to 80%. The car manufacturer Hyundai has cut its production by half. BBC News.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Due to infrastructure upgrades, customers on Canal Point Drive off West Bay Road and the Estuary Tibbetts Highway will experience interruptions to their electrical service on Sunday, June 12th between 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. For more information on the outage, contact COC's customer service team at 949-5200 or email at service@coc.ky.
The Health Services Authority's new pharmacy is now open at the Smith Road Medical Center. The new location features a large, comfortable waiting area and ticketing system to improve the patient experience. All uncollected prescriptions and refill requests previously submitted will now be available for collection at the Smith Road Pharmacy. Request your refills online at hsa.ky via WhatsApp 925-6532 or call 244-2715. For more information about our pharmacy hours, visit hsa.ky.
Radio Cayman News.
Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II's official 96th birthday celebration.
Cayman Islands Fire Service, Her Majesty Cayman Islands Prison Service.
This is the first ever Queen's Birthday Parade to take place in the Sister Islands.
Knight Commander, the Honourable Anthony Stafford Smeller QC, Chief Justice.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Good morning, everyone. Hello? Hello? Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Okay, I see we have just about everyone, and of course Tom drops off, as per usual. Let's just wait a minute here. He always comes right back, and we're almost ready, and... oh, whoever's dog that is, please go on mute. Why won't it let me share my screen? Okay, looks like we're ready to start.
We're like a video conference with no technical issues. CG Britcay. Good like that.
All right, good morning, my friends. Let's take a look at your latest weather conditions, courtesy of our friends at CG Britcay. Present temperature 82 degrees Fahrenheit. It's mostly sunny on the outside, and it feels like about 91 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds are out of the east-southeast at 8 miles per hour, with gusts up to 10 miles per hour. Relative humidity 80%. Last night's dew point was at 75. Barometric pressure at 29.94 inches and falling. Light to moderate southeasterly winds and seas are expected to continue across the Cayman area over the next 24 hours in association with a ridge north of the Caribbean, and satellite images show hazy skies with few low-level clouds in and around the Cayman area moving towards the northwest. Hazy conditions due to Saharan dust is expected to linger across the Cayman area over the next few days. So our forecast for today: partly cloudy skies with 30% chance of morning showers. Temperatures will rise to the upper 80s. Winds will be east to southeast at 10 or 15 knots. Seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. Then later tonight, partly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of showers. Temperatures will fall to the upper 70s. Winds will be east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. We're presently in a high tide. Low tide is coming up at 12:34 this afternoon and high again at 7:26 this evening. For tomorrow, low tide is at 1:27 a.m., high at 6:24 a.m., low at 1:15 p.m., and high at 8:10 p.m. Your sunset is at 7:02, sunrise for tomorrow at 5:48, and the outlook is for similar weather conditions through Monday morning. That's your latest weather right here on your Radio Cayman. The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Good morning, everyone. Hello? Hello? Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Okay, I see we have just about everyone, and of course Tom drops off, as per usual. Let's just wait a minute here. He always comes right back, and we're almost ready, and... oh, whoever's dog that is, please go on mute. Why won't it let me share my screen? Okay, looks like we're ready to start.
We're like a video conference with no technical issues. CG Britcay. Good like that.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
All right, let's check out the movements of traffic this morning time. Kind of out of the east-west area, north side, east end. Looking at the Creighton Boulevard, traffic is moving good, especially heading into the Georgetown area. Heading outside of Georgetown, traffic is flowing good. Looking down from King Sports Center, traffic is along the Linford-Pearson Highway and similarly along Crew Road. Slow-paced traffic moving in that area. Going through South Sound, you got some free flow of traffic, and of course getting out to Walker's Road, expect some traffic there. For those continuing through South Church Street into Seafarers Way, you'll meet up some traffic. Most streets in Georgetown still stable. Shedden Road, traffic is flowing good. Similar along Godfrey Nixon Way, Eastern Avenue, West Bay Road, looking out from the Ritz-Carlton, a little bit of slow-paced traffic, but moving good. Eastleigh Tibbetts Highway. Now, there's some traffic in the southbound lane. Not sure how far back that is stretching, but it is stop and go in some instances getting to the Butterfield roundabouts. Yeah, a bit of traffic here on the Eastleigh Tibbetts Highway, but of course the northbound lane traffic is flowing smoothly. Of course, once again, keep your eyes out for pedestrians, those on scooters, motorbikes, bicycles. And while you're out and about driving, obey the speed limits, buckle up, and use your indicators. The traffic report brought to you by our good friends at Subway.
Subway is serving up a special new sauce, bursting with flavor in every bite. The new Savory Collection is a tropical sweet and spicy sauce made with a combination of spices, habanero peppers, thyme, onion, black pepper, ginger, citrus juices, and molasses.
It's so good. Wow. Sensational.
Delicious. Subway's Savory Collection pairs perfectly with our oven-roasted chicken or steak sub. Savor the flavor. For a limited time, only at Subway. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of the year again as the New Self-Help Foundation presents Gratitude, the 21st Annual Talent Exposition of the Arts, Sunday, June 26th at the Hartwell Theater. Performances by UCCI dancers, Mariah Praise, Radiant Dance Studio, Andrew Rivera,
May not be thunder crashing down.
Dream Chasers Cayman, hosted by former Miss Cayman Universe, Anika Connolly, and Lloyd Barker. Part proceeds from the Talent Exposition will benefit the Pines Retirement Home. Prepaid tickets available at Funky Tanks, Winner Circle Sports. Tickets are $15, $20 at the gate. Gratitude. The 2022 Talent Exposition of the Arts, Sunday, June 26th at the Hartwell Theater. Gates open at 5 p.m. Show starts 6 p.m. Get your tickets today.
Excuse me, I noticed you from afar.
Really? Me?
Well, not you. The KFC sandwich you're eating?
Oh, Zinger.
Sorry, I'm not trying to be funny.
No, it's called the Zinger Sandwich. Crunchy, juicy, 100% chicken breast, crisp lettuce, sweet mayo on a seeded bun with a little zing. KFC's chicken is not factory breaded, frozen, and refried like the Burger Boys. Customize your KFC Zinger and dip it in barbecue sauce.
Wow, now I'm starting to notice you too.
KFC, it's finger-licking good.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orit Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning some of the panelists from the Committee for the Promotion of Research and Cayman Scholarship. They're here discussing a book, The Cayman Islands, History, Politics, and Society, Essays in Honor of J.A. Roy Bawden. It has been edited by Dr. Livingston Smith and Dr. Stephanie Fullerton Cooper as well. And as you heard earlier, the sponsorship for in assistance of the publication of this book, has also been covered by sponsors, and they can mention the sponsors again as well. So, in the studio, we have Dr. Livingston Smith, Dr. Stephanie Fullerton Cooper and Mr. Mario Ebanks. Miss Teresa Pitcairn had to leave us early as well. Paul, has that phone call come through yet, Paul? Okay, Annika is on the line. Should we? Yes. Good morning, Miss Annika. How are you? Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. Nice to hear your voice.
Nice to hear your voice too. But
Okay.
Hold on. I'm just muting Radio Keynote.
Okay, go right ahead.
Okay. Well, Mr. Roy Bodden's book and what he's created, all of the work that he's created, the body of work that he's created over the many years, I was really honored to be part of celebrating with this symposium that took place last year.
Yes.
And I have a couple of thoughts on it that I'd love to share. My contribution was of poetry, Caymanian poetry, that came out in the voice of the Caymanian people. And what I loved about what I got out of the symposium was that it reminded Caymanians of who we are. You know, and it sparked a wave of intellectual and artistic regeneration that just shook Cayman for the next few months. And now I'm really excited to see what the book is going to produce, because following the Roy Bodden Symposium in June of last year, we actually celebrated Emancipation Day for the first time in, I think it might have been over 40 years. And that event that took place, and Mr. Roy was part of it, he was invited to be part of it, he didn't actually create it, was one of probably the most powerful cultural event I have ever attended in the Cayman Islands. It was a collection of young Caymanian poets, and Mr. Roy actually read some of his poetry as well. And it, like, hearing the voice of Caymanians in a powerful, awake, alive, vibrant way was just has such an impact on me as a Caymanian poet. And what it reminded me of is that my people are not pushovers. Caymanian people are not just gentle and Cayman kind. What it reminded me is that we are simply asleep. We are very resilient. We are deep thinkers. What our gap is in communication. And that's what I love about this work, is that it's actually putting into writing the things that are going on in the Caymanian mind. But I'm super excited to see what's going to come of the book as it gets out into the community. Because it brought alive the spice, the depth, the intellect of the Caymanian mind right now. And I think this work is about remembering and waking up and becoming aware of where we are today. And that's actually one of the reasons why I'm actually going ahead I'm hoping to be able to publish my own book this year.
Excellent.
Has really encouraged that work moving forward. And if you're open to it, if you have time for it today, I can read out loud one of the poems that was included in the work that I think Radio Cayman would like to have on record anyway.
Okay, go right ahead.
Election prayer. Now, I know we're not in an election year, so I can feel pretty safe to say this, right?
Every year is an election year in Cayman.
Oh, my darling islands, I send you all my love. May the hustlers and the shut-ins feel the grace of God above. May the schoolgirls and the schoolboys who rise now from out of bed wash their faces, enter kitchens where they are loved and they are fed. Keep the mosquitoes in the swamp and the dolphins running strong. Woodpeckers far from the roof and hush the parrot's mango song. May the struggling baby mama get all the help she needs. May the inmate and the officer see God's sky above the weeds. May the doctors do the right thing. Keep the lawyers far from lies. Help the cashiers all to balance and help the cooks kill all the flies. Keep the lowlands safe from flooding. Keep the sand up on the beach. And keep evil from our hearts, our treasures out of Satan's reach. Bless the grannies' lullabies and the daddies who provide. Bless the adults at sunrise, the fishermen out off north side. Keep us all in safety. Keep our sailors' wits afloat. And may the good Lord's will be done when we all go out to vote.
Excellent. Beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful.
One final thought I have for you, Ms. Osi, if that's
Sure.
okay. I'm really proud of our neighbor, I mean a distant neighbor, but Barbados, and what they have created for their self-determination. And I'm really excited to see what will come of their future. And this is actually the kind of decision that an empowered people can make. We may not make the same decision. You know, Cayman may not ever make that same decision. However, Cayman has an opportunity to get to remember who we are, learn who we are today, and make decisions that are powerful and that are right for us. So I'm really excited to see Professor Cynthia Barrow-Giles join us for the opening of the book, and I'm really excited to see what she has to say.
Excellent. Ms. Annika, you are so intelligent, so well-spoken, and a great poet as well. And we're looking forward to you sharing more of your poetry with us here in the Cayman Islands as well.
I'm looking forward to it too. Thank you for having me. Have yourselves a wonderful day, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for calling.
Thank you. Okay.
Mr. Osi, if I could just say that in the book, and that was Annika Hill, who is Brown, as you all know, Mr. Carl and Dr. Hazel Brown daughter, and she's a brilliant young lady. And her paper is actually in part 4, chapter 14 of the book, and page 219, and it says Reflection of the Caymanian Identity Through Poetry and Prose. So if people get the book on Tuesday, they'll be able to read a lot more of what Annika Hill has written, and so that's one of the chapters in the book, and it's a very dynamic chapter. So we thank Annika for her contribution and for calling.
Yeah, okay. and you know what Annika said, I remember her talking about it at the symposium, and even it's included in the chapter that you just mentioned, that her, as she just said as well, her poetry is inspired by Roy Bodden's work. You know, he has given her almost the confidence, let's say, to get her own works published out there. So hers is just one of many essays that are points of departure from Roy Bodden's work. If I could speak to a few more from the text, we do have Mary Lawrence, who does a very lovely chapter on Roy Bodden's personal history, talking about his youth and some of the things that he experienced as he became a student and later on a political leader in the Cayman Islands. We also have Dr. Chris Williams from UCCI, who is always in a very friendly debate with Roy Bodden about the history of the Cayman Islands, whether it's a society of slaves or a slave society, and just very exciting chapter there. We also have, like Aniki, Dr. Monica Lawrence, who talks about how Bodden's work inspires her too. I remember her presentation including videos of dances she has put on based on Bodden's stories or his poetry. And then, of course, we have Dr. Erica Gordon, who focuses on education. So if you're listening so far, we are talking about a book that is going to be launched on Tuesday. History, politics, and society, but don't think that those 3 words actually encompass everything that there is about this wonderful text. It is almost 500 pages long, which I think is an impressive publication just on Cayman-related issues. It has over 26 contributors. When we had the symposium, there were approximately 40 presentations, and of that amount, 26 persons chose to publish their works on the Cayman Islands. My own chapter that's included there focuses, one of the few, I'll admit, that focuses on Roy Bodden's nonfiction, because we know him as a politician, an educator, etc., but I know him as a poet and as a short story writer. And so my paper looked at that. Mr. Bodden's coming to talk to my students on Monday, just about Cayman society, about his writing, setting everything in context. And they're so excited because they get to study the writings of their own Caymanians. So this text that this book that we're launching on Tuesday, it has something for everyone. Right. That's why we're excited about it.
Okay, excellent. Dr. Smith, we have Ms. Scott on the line, and I want to give you an opportunity to introduce her and welcome
her. Right. Ms. Scott, we say very, very proudly, is a Caymanian. She also went to UCCI. I had the pleasure of having her in my class, and Mr. Bodden also taught her. And she's now completing her PhD at Temple University in the U.S. Excellent school. And I know she's on the line, so I'm very excited for her to come on. Yes.
Okay, Ms. Scott, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm so happy to be able to call in and to speak with everyone, as well as see everyone. I've been following the show online.
Okay.
So it's great to see everyone. As Dr. Smith stated, I'm currently a PhD candidate within a graduate program, and I'm also a member of the Committee for the Promotion of Caymanian Scholarship and Research, and also a contributor for the book. And so I've been so fortunate to work with the panel that's on today, this morning, and it's been a great opportunity for myself as a young Caymanian scholar to make connections, but also to encourage the dialogue that we saw last year at the symposium, and also now that is formatted in the book that will be launched next Tuesday. And so I'm just eternally grateful for the opportunity, and also for Mr. Bodden. As Dr. Smith stated, I was a student of Mr. Bodden and Dr. Smith, and it really showed me the deep study, the critical thinking that Mr. Bodden has dedicated his life, right, to the Caymanian community, and the way that he really delves into issues, to the history and to society, and oftentimes says what needs to be said, right? It might not be necessarily what we want to hear, but Mr. Bodden always lets us know what is necessary and what we need to hear. And so, my contribution to the book, I interrogated his book that he published in 2007, The Cayman Islands in Transition, and I approached it utilizing class, race, and gender analysis, and really tried to focus on, the historical seafaring narrative that we know and hear in Cayman, but really paying attention to the roles of Caymanian women in it. And so I argue that Caymanian women are really central to the foundation of a Caymanian cultural identity. And I'm just so excited for the work to be out, as Dr. Smith and as, Mr. Ebanks and Ms. Teresa and Dr. Fullerton Cooper have stated. It's really a great collage and assemblage. Assembly of scholars, of writers, of business persons that have contributed to the book, and I'm just so happy that I was able to take part, not just in the book, but also on the committee itself.
Excellent. Anything you want to add to that, or any question for
Right,
for
I wanted to add, OC, that persons are asking what else will be done in terms after the launch, for example, and one of these events will be by then, hopefully, totally it's with Dr. McKenna. She's going to be having a session, online session, where she will present the main points of her thesis, the knotty issues that she dealt with, and the conclusion that she'll arrive at. So I'm going to get the date publicized soon, so persons can join her in just talking about her work and her contribution to knowledge.
Excellent. Okay.
And we did say one of the things that the committee is focused on is motivating the youth. We're just so proud of the soon-to-be Dr. Scott. They're representing the Cayman Islands. We have a Cayman voice, a Cayman presence at Temple University. And we're just so proud of the fact that she has chosen to pursue academia in the ways that she has. Yes, I know she has said that she's been inspired by having sat in the class of Dr. Livingston Smith, of Mr. Roy Bodden, and it's just so wonderful to see that our own Cayman people are inspiring our Cayman youth to going to higher heights and deeper depths. So good for you, Dr. McKenna, soon to be.
Yes, thank you all so much, and I look forward to following along the program online as well. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you very much, and all the best to you as well. We're going to take a commercial break. Just before we do that, one of our listeners has written in and said Miss Anneke is awesome. They're very proud of her, and they go on to say that Mr. Carl and Dr. Hazel Brown, that they have two wonderful children as well. Big thumbs up to that. Yeah. Also, folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Are you feeling sick, but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough and sore throat, to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities, built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials, are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Stay clean, stay safe, hey man. Reflection sells gallons of sanitizer for only $25. Buy 2 clip-on sanitizers for just $5. Reflections has the best KN95 masks or reusable cloth masks, and you can get 2 for only $5. Blue surgical masks and face shields are available for children and adults, as well as 10 and 50 packs of black surgical masks. Volume discounts available at Reflections. Jose's Rubus, Reflections Hemp and Tobacco, all 5 Liquor for Less locations, and Food for Less open 24 hours every day. Don't miss the Liquor for Less incredible priced better markdown. Hundreds of fine from $2.99. Cases of ice cold below wholesale prices. Save $10 off liters of absolute exclusively at Liquor for Less. Prices so low we can't say them on the radio.
It's Cash Whiz Cayman Kids Got Talent Show
2022.
Calling all kids 11 to 17 years to showcase their God-given talent and win cash and prizes. Registration ends June 18 and forms are available at your schools and Cash Whiz Cayman. Limited space, so register now. Cash Whiz Cayman Kids Got Talent
2022.
Call for more information 321-7274 or 927-6352.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning some members from the Committee for the Promotion of Research and Cayman Scholarship. They are Dr. Livingston Smith, Dr. Stephanie Fullerton Cooper. Ms. Teresa has left us. She was here with us earlier, and we also have Mr. Mario Ebanks in the studio as well, talking about the launch and the publication of the collection of work essays that were done in honor of J.A. Roy Borden. It is entitled The Cayman Islands, History, Politics, and Society. So, we're going to throw the mic over to Mr. Mario Ebanks. And just to say also, we expect to hear from Mr. Roy Borden himself at some point in time during the course of the show as well. Mr. Mario.
Thank you, sir. I just want to say very briefly, since soon to be Dr. McKenna, Scott was just on the call with us, that and Caymanian culture, who your mama is, who your dad is. That's why I always try to shout out all that. I ask a lot of questions as well, but but she's the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Tony Scott, who's well known in Ireland, and sister also of Mr. Shamari Scott, who is the Chamber of Commerce president now. So hoping that all of her family and friends and Shamari and all of his following will be at the launch on Tuesday as well, to support McKenna and to listen to the lecture as well. It's going to be very dynamic, and to purchase the book, which is a great value. But McKenna's paper is actually in the book on part 5, chapter 6, and it's entitled "Visiting the Cayman Islands in Transition," and it's a very strong paper. So hopefully people will get to read it and digest it. And I just want to give McKenna a shout out as well for her great work.
Okay. Now, you mentioned the keynote speaker,
yes,
for the event, and I just wanted to mention also just recently, Barbados lost another icon, Mr. George Lamming, who was also a novelist, essayist, and poet and academic, as well. And some of his publications included In the Castle of My Skin, The Immigrants, The Pleasures of Exile, and Natives of My Person, as well. So I just wanted to mention that. But maybe we can talk about, at some point in time, I'm sure you will talk about the keynote speaker as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and we could do that now, OC. Yes, the keynote speaker is coming from Barbados. She's coming from the Keyville campus of the University of West Indies, Professor Barrow Giles. And our interest in Dr. Giles is because she has covered, her research and writings covered similar issues that Mr. Borden has written about.
Okay.
All right. So, for example, she has written many books. For example, The Introduction to Cuban Politics. She has written books on women in politics. For example, the book called Women in Caribbean Politics, that was published in 2011. She has done significant research in a range of in many areas like governance, democracy, political parties, political party funding, corruption in the Caribbean. She has worked on constitutional reform in the Caribbean. She has worked for CARICOM, for example, when Guyana had the election, which was quite troublesome.
Yes,
she was there on behalf of CARICOM, giving advice and also see what is happening there. She has worked with the UN, and so she has international profile. And the issues that she has covered are quite relevant. So we thought it would be good to have her give the keynote speak next week, Tuesday. And so that's an additional reason why a person should come out on Tuesday to be a part of this occasion.
Also, let's remind them again of that time.
Right, so it's next
Tuesday.
Week, Tuesday. Yeah. If you come 5:30 to be part of refreshments, so you can just leave work and come have refreshments at 5:30. We move right into the program at 6 o'clock. And so the program will be, of course, some persons giving some highlights, and then the keynote speaker. We'll have the UCCI dancers doing an item also.
They're great. They're great.
Right, exactly.
Great performers.
And Dr. Monica, who's also an author. And then we go into the book sale. $25. We are going to do cash only. And these occasions also sometimes reveal what happens after the big event, the conversations that go on, meeting people and talking about the issues and making connections. And so that would also be quite exciting, right?
Yeah, we also want to say that it's at the UCCI Sir Russell Johnson Hall.
Yeah.
It's going to be, the parking is sufficient in that area, and that time of the day also, hopefully traffic is subsided a bit and they'll get parking. And as Dr. Livingston mentioned, $25 CI. If people can bring the exact change, it'll be good, because we might not have too much ability to make change. But if they want to give more, that'll be fine too. We're welcoming donations as well to the work of the committee. And so, we want to have a good turnout, because it's going to be a very dynamic event.
And if persons are thinking, if they have problems about buying Christmas gifts, this is a good time to buy something like this and put it aside to give, as a gift, or several of them.
What a wonderful idea.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'm really saddened to hear of the death of George Lamming. He died less than a week ago.
Yes.
But what I really admired about him, and every time I talk about Mr. Bodden's work, I usually reference George Lamming because, yes, he's known as a poet and a novelist and an essayist, but he's known as such a critic of Caribbean authors. And he has always said that the role of the author is so integral to society. We develop as a result of looking at ourselves, and that the creative writer allows us to look at ourselves. I think that really characterizes Roy Bodden. He has written on so many various issues, and like we just said, he causes us to ponder the historical, causes us to ponder the sociological. He causes us to ponder the creative, what the creative mind can do in response to all of these realistic experiences. So it's a true loss. We grieve with not just Barbados, but the entire Caribbean. We've lost a truly wonderful mind and individual, and we're thankful for all the contributions he has made to the growth and development of the region.
Speaking of the man, he's on the line. Mr. Bodden, good morning, sir. Welcome to For the Record. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Moderator. I haven't chatted with you for a long time.
Yes.
Let me tell you, sir. I am humbled. And I can't thank the persons who put this together enough. Dr. Livingston, Dr. Stephen Cooper, soon to be Dr. McKenna Scott, and my brother Mario, Teresa, how could I forget? I call her my fourth sister, and all the other people. I love the Cayman Islands so much that I wanted to leave a legacy that was tangible, that future generations could use as a guide. And so I want to say something about my factual writing. I know that I speak issues that many people are not comfortable with. But I think that those are truths that we have to face.
Yes.
There are many ghosts that we as a people have to exorcise before we can grow and develop some more. And I try to bring these to the fore in my factual writing. But I also wanted to test myself in fiction. And so in the two genres, what I try to achieve, I take factual stuff and merge it with fiction, embellish it, so that even in the later works that I produce, people can still come away with some knowledge about the society they live, as a people, who they are.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And it's interesting that Dr. Stephen Fullerton Cooper made that remark about George Lamming, because George Lamming is one of my models. I love his writing, and it's sad to see his passing, but he has left a legacy in persons like myself who are endeavored not to let his name fade away. So I like his work. He's like myself. I aspire to be as hard a critic of our society as he is. It's lonely. It's lonely and difficult to be a writer as I am. It's lonely and difficult to be a writer as I am. You have to have a thick skin, because intellectualism is a new phenomenon in the Cayman Islands. We don't measure success by letters and intellectual product. We measure success by more tangible things: where you live, what you drive, who you are, what kind of job you hold. So I think that I can be an exemplar, because many people don't know it, but I came from a dysfunctional family. My dad was a binge drinker. He was an alcoholic. And I went through hell as a youth growing up. And Mary Lawrence captures that in her chapter, in her article about me, because she knows about my history. So it was a challenging time. but I had a great mother, a strong black woman, a woman of the diaspora, I call her, because she was born in Cuba.
Oh, okay.
And spent her formative years in Cuba. So, and then I had great paternal grandparents. That's how I made it. That's how I made it, with a lot of help from other people. And so I want to give back to Cayman. I want to see a plural society, a society where we don't curse one another because we are this or that, and talk about expatriates, because at the end of the day, we're all one. And so that's what my writings aspire to do. I want to talk about two works I have now.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt you for a second, Mr. Barton, because we have to go to a commercial break. If you can hold on, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we can allow you then to continue. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Since March 2004, West Bay Pharmacy has kept their doors open to the local communities, even before, during, and after Hurricane Ivan. At West Bay Pharmacy, our staff provides so much more than pharmaceutical excellence. From the moment you walk through our doors to completing your cash out, our staff will have put your healthcare concerns at ease. We would like to take this moment to thank our loyal friends and customers. To us at West Bay Pharmacy, our patients are our primary concern. We provide thorough background checks and precise calculations to ensure your medical safety. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross now at Vamt Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vamt Motors, Walkers Road.
Do you need your account balance from the Water Authority? Give us a call. Customers can now confirm their account balance over the phone in 3 easy steps. 1. Call our office at 94-WATER, that's 949-2837, and press 2 for account balance. 2. Enter the full 11 or 12-digit account number. 3. Press pound and get your account balance. You can check up to 5 account balances in one call, and if you accidentally enter the wrong number, you have 3 tries to enter it correctly. This service is open to all customers, including tenants. Call the Water Authority to get your account balance today.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
You know the easiest way to get free food? No, not go steal your neighbor's mango, but plant a tree. Yeah, for real. More trees, more food, less grocery bills. To celebrate Her Majesty Queen Platinum Jubilee, come plant a tree for the Jubilee. Yeah, we need you. Yes, you. Make sure you leave your green mark on the Cayman Islands. Perhaps a mango tree, a legitimate tree, even a little bit of coconut or cabbage. Is it time we all started eating off the land again? Register your tree and leave your green print at www.gov.ky/National Tree Planting. Or make sure you follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Plant a tree for the Jubilee. Proudly brought to you by the Cayman Islands government.
He's a part of
for sustainability and climate resiliency. Let's green Cayman now.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. For those of you just joining us, I want to remind you that we have in the studio with us Dr. Livingston Smith. We have Dr. Stephanie Fullerton Cooper. We have Mr. Mario Ebanks on the phone. We have Mr. Roy Borden. We're talking about the promotion, the committee. Sorry, these are members in the studio, are some of the members of the Committee for the Promotion of Research and Cayman Scholarship. We're speaking specifically about a collection of essays in honor of J.A. Roy Bawden. It is entitled The Cayman Islands, History, Politics, and Society. It has been edited by Dr. Livingston Smith and Dr. Stephanie Fullerton Cooper. The launch is on the 14th, next week, Tuesday, at UCCI Sir Vassal Johnson Hall, but you'll hear more about that. We have the person himself on the phone, Mr. Roy Bawden, J.A. Roy Bawden, so we're going back to him. Mr. Bawden, sorry for the interruption there, but you have the mic again, sir.
Not a problem. Not a problem. So I wanted to say that I have two works now with the publisher to be.
We're getting an echo.
Yeah, I don't know why that is. It's published in the forum. One is the book of short stories, and the other is the book of poetry. I'm excited about the short stories.
Sorry, we're still getting an echo. Is there anything playing in the background?
Or maybe it's.
Whoa. Yeah, and the volume has gone down quite a bit.
Maybe it's on speaker.
Is it better now?
No, sir.
Still got echo.
Okay, we have Billy on the line as well. So if you can hang up and then call us back, or we'll try to reach you. If you give Paul the number, we can call from this end as well. So please give Paul. You want to take his number? What we can do is we can accommodate Billy now, and then go back to Mr. Bawden. Okay. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. O.C., and good morning.
Nice to hear your voice, Mr. Billy.
Morning, Billy.
You know, I when Roy started to write, I said to myself, "Oh boy, the genie is coming out of the lamp." And you know, the proverbial, you can't put the genie back into the lamp when it comes out. And but what that genie has done, that genie has found many other lamps with many other genies here in Cayman. And what is so good is that we're having all of these people that are starting to fearlessly express their opinions on matters that affect them. And that is what we see with our talk shows. You, Mr. O.C., has been a big part of that.
Thank you.
Usually I talk a little too long and then he cut me off, but still, I love it. But, you know, what we have seen coming out is that more and more people are standing up for their rights and demanding their rights before they lose it, and that is to express their opinion. And these writings, when people get a book next week, because I know a lot of people, I know it's going to sell out, they have to do a reprint. And when you read and you understand and you see you're not alone. You're not alone, people, when you express your ideas on things that affect you. And we need an army of people, an army of genies with Caymanian interests as a priority, as a central, and that's a centric objective. And so I am very happy that I've been given the opportunity to work with these people. You know, we had the Towards the Corruption-Free Caribbean Conference, 10 years ago? And I see that Dr. Barros Giles, that's one of the subjects she's looking at, is anti-corruption fight, because that's so important for us here. And so, O.C., thank you very much for hosting this today and giving the promotion to this very important work. And we hope that there will be other critical thinking, thought-provoking seminars and get-togethers and writers start to come to the fore here in Cayman. Those genies are there. The lamps are there. Let's get them out of the lamp. We want those genies out.
Excellent.
God bless you all.
Thank you very much. Anyone wants to respond or add to what Mr. Billy had to say?
If Billy is still on the line, I don't know if he's still on the line or not, but I just wondered. Billy,
not cut me off.
okay. Since you're an encyclopedia of knowledge, Billy, I'll ask you this, and maybe you could, if you don't know the answer, you could research it. But I just wondered whether our guest speaker, the Professor Cynthia Barrow Giles, is in a relation to Dame Ruth Nita Barrow, who is the first Governor General of Barbados. So I don't know if you know if she is related in any way, or whether you could check it out. But it seems like it could well be that, the same surname and a small island as well. So I'll just, that's all the comments I have. But I just want to say that
could be.
Also,
you had Errol Barrow down there.
Right, that's right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And,
all righty.
Okay, take care, Billy.
Thank you very much, Mr. Billy, for that. We're going to encourage Mr. Borden to. We tried actually calling him back, Paul. You didn't have any success with that. We're going to say to him to wait until after the headline news at 9 o'clock, about 2 minutes after 9 or so, to try calling us back at that point in time. Folks around the table, the Cayman Islands, and like Billy said, we have to talk about things. Like Mr. Borden said, we have to, all of the uncomfortable things we have to talk about as well. The Cayman Islands being a colony, they've tidied that up a little bit, and then they call us dependent territories, and now we call overseas territories. But at the end of the day, we still ruled by someone. Those rulers, our ruler, the United Kingdom, steeped in history, record everything. So much so that most of the history of the Cayman Islands, if you want to know about it, you go to the archives in Jamaica, or you go to the archives in the UK, or you go to some religious institution in the UK that has held records. Unfortunately, the people of the Cayman Islands, the inhabitants, the Caymanians, we relied more on an oral history as opposed to writing. And now we see persons like Mr. Roy Borden coming and others coming along and writing. And we have the opportunity to not only that, but to interrogate them while they're still alive, so we know exactly, what their thinking is. We don't have to get out there and try to surmise in terms of what it is they're telling us. What are your views on that in terms of what is this? Tell us how this committee that has been established will move forward in terms of encouraging and promoting more Caymanian writers.
A great point, O.C. We want to do just that. In fact, it is critical that we get into the habit of writing our situation down, of recording. We have to first believe that what we have is important, just like everybody else. All right? So you come from that perspective. This is an important event. And so this committee is interested in encouraging persons. For example, I could mention Mr. Steve McField, for example. We did a book from him to document his life, his story, because some of these autobiographies are not just about a person, about the entire society and how the society has evolved over time. And if a person moves on, then we'll lose that if that is not documented. Yes. And this committee wants to do some of that. And the greater the variety of persons writing their stories, the better we know the truth, and the more there is for posterity to examine. And that is really a part of nation building. There are persons who have been in politics, for example, write your story down, write a book on it, what you achieved, what you didn't achieve, what are your expectations. Life is short, so we need to document these things so that society has them going forward to draw on.
Excellent. That's a good point for us to take our headline news, and we are going to reach, I think we have reached Mr. Borden again, so he will rejoin us as soon as we return from headline news. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
There are an estimated 1,011 cases of COVID-19 in the Cayman Islands, with public health reporting 181 for Tuesday and Wednesday. The 7-day rolling average for Thursday was 61. A congressional inquiry is heard as a hearing opened into the raid that, quote, former U.S. President Donald Trump orchestrated last year's Capitol riot in an attempted coup. Liz Cheney, the Republican vice chair of the committee, said Mr. Trump had, quote, lit the flame of this attack. Benny Thompson, a Democrat, said the riot endangered American democracy. Trump supporters stormed Congress on January 6, 2021, as lawmakers met to certify Joe Biden's election victory. And the Russian fast food chain that was formerly McDonald's in the country has revealed its new logo as it prepares to reopen its restaurants from Sunday. The new branding features a circle and 2 lines, which are said to represent a burger and 2 French fries. The company has not yet revealed the name of the chain, although a number of options have reportedly been considered. In May, McDonald's said it would pull out of Russia over the Ukraine war. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio, we have Mr. Mario Ebanks, Dr. Livingston Smith, and Dr. Stephanie Fullerton Cooper. Sorry. They are members of a committee that has been established. The committee is called, he's back, okay. And we're discussing the launch of a book entitled The Cayman Islands, History, Politics, and Society. Their essays in honor of J.A. Roy Borden. The book has been edited by Dr. Livingston Smith and Dr. Stephanie Fullerton Cooper, and the launch is next week, Tuesday, at the Cervasel Hall, and we will give you more information about that. Meanwhile, we have been rejoined by Mr. Roy Borden. Mr. Borden, sorry about that technical glitch there, but welcome back, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I want to say thanks to you, and heartfelt appreciation and gratitude to the committee, Dr. Livingston, Dr. Stephanie, Teresa, Mario, Nikana, and all the other people who worked to put this together for the promotion of Cayman Scholarship. My brother Billy Adam, always a great encourager. If I could depend on one friend when the going was tough and I got a lot of flack, it was Billy, always in my corner, always encouraging me. And I want to say from the bottom of my heart, you know, I write because I love Cayman, my country. I want to promote an understanding. I ask myself, how can I inform, edify, and illuminate the understanding and uplift my people? I don't have money where I could be a great philanthropist, but I have ideas and I have intellect. So I set out to be a public intellectual. And I was saying earlier, it's not always easy because you have to have the skin of an armadillo. If you want to be honest, you're going to talk about things that make certain people uncomfortable. But that I see as a part of growth. So during the lockdown, I was busy writing. And I started to say, God willing, I hope to continue. I have 2 works now, which will be published in the fall. A book of short stories entitled The Defilement of Misamba and Other Stories, and a book of poetry called Trouble in the Street, an encounter with J.A. Roy Borden. And I have 2 other works, one of which is complete. It's called From the Vestry to the Premier, The Evolution of Caymanian Politics. And the other one, which is a sequel to the Cayman Islands in Transition, is a book that I'm working on now, is more complicated because it's going to have photographs and maps and charts. So this is the legacy I would like to leave. This is the understanding that I would like to promote so that Caymanians of all walks of life can understand who they are and the importance of us being interdependent. So I thank you for the exposure. And I thank all those people, and I encourage people to come out, support this, and buy the books.
Thank you.
You spoke about writing and it being a lonely place. Now we hear of some famous writers, Mr. Borden, and they talk about developing writers' blocks, where they go through long periods of time where they're unable to put anything together, sometimes years before they're able to publish something again. Have you had an experience with that, sir? Or is your enthusiasm so great that there's no room for any blockage?
I have writer's block, but thank God it's not for years. Because as you say, my enthusiasm is so great. I'm struggling now, and the book that I'm telling you about, which is the sequel to the Cayman Islands in Transition, I've changed the title numerous times, and I confide in my wife, who's my confidant, the struggles that I have, because I know what I want to say, but sometimes I can't say it in a way that it would be appropriate and effective. And when it comes like that I get that kind of blockage, I set the work aside.
Okay.
I put the work aside and let it rest. And that's the advantage of being both a factual writer and a fictional writer. It is then that I turn to the fiction and the poetry, which is lighter stuff. And quite often, I get the inspiration and I get the ideas and I break the block. That certainly has been the experience in my case. But yes, all writers suffer from writer's block of one form or another, and I'm aware of that. And so that's how I use to combat it. But I want to say, one of the things that I want to do most of all is to inspire Caymanians, and particularly young Caymanians, to write. Because my vision is not the only vision. It's not unique. It's not the only vision. It is but my interpretation. There will be others, and that's how our society will be strong. People will come up with alternate interpretations to what I have presented, like the debate that Dr. Fullerton Cooper mentioned between Dr. Christopher Williams and myself concerning slavery. That's a healthy debate. That kind of thing evokes intellectual strength in the society where we can disagree, but yet we are respectful of each other's points of view.
Okay. Anything that you want to ask Mr. Borden before he leaves us?
Not to ask him necessarily, but I just wanted to reflect on. He mentioned when he's called in the first time about the paper that Mary Lawrence, Honorable Mary Lawrence, had written in the book concerning him. And the paper is in Part 4, Chapter 11, and it's entitled "The Cultural Context of Roy Borden and His Writings." And I was there for the presentation of the paper last year at the symposium, and it's actually a great piece of work as well. And Dr. Roy Borden talked about his mother and her influence, and she was born in Cuba. And when I did my paper last year, I had just buried my dear mother about 2 weeks before that, so it was a difficult time. And in my paper, I reflected on the fact that I knew Mr. Borden from the time he was teaching at the Cayman Islands High School, but his mother and my mother, both of them are born in Cuba, and both of them did not encourage either of us to get into politics. And so in my paper, I talked a bit about that in the intro, and I just wanted to reflect on that little snippet this morning.
Okay.
Yeah, my mother didn't see politics as befitting of her son. She always, credit to her, she always wanted me to be an academic. She always wanted me to be a teacher, an enlightener. And she told me many things about politics, which I won't share on the platform today, because they turned out, by the way, to be true. But I want to make this point. Mr. Moderator, and your panel, because this is important. one of the lessons I learned from my mother and what I call the Caymanian diaspora, because there were many generations of Caymanians who went abroad, is that we have to temper our prejudice of outsiders. Because I am not saying that we can surrender Cayman, but we have to remember that many of us, myself, and from both sides of my family, from my maternal side and my paternal side, my paternal grandfather immigrated to the United States because he thought that he could better provide for his family by becoming a naturalized American citizen. And so he did. And so that's why even sometimes when I slip and slide, I have to correct myself and say, you should not be completely prejudiced against outsiders because your family were outsiders in the societies to which they immigrated as well. So we have to strike a balance. Yeah. We have to strike a balance. And there is strength in being interdependent. There is strength in being interdependent, while at the same time maintaining certain core Caymanian cultural values. And that's my point. I thank you for the time, and I tell the committee I am humbled. It is beyond anything that I expected. I still continue to write. And one of these days, Mr. Moderator, I promise myself, if my life is spared, I'm going to make some money because I'm going to write a novel that someone will purchase as a script for a Hollywood movie.
Yes.
I promise that. Okay.
Looking forward to that. Thank you very much, sir. You have a great day. Please stay safe as well. We do have another caller in hold. Let's go back to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC, and good morning to your distinguished panelists. This is Billy Sinamba here.
Good morning. Another
morning,
Billy.
Well, the other Billy is the real Billy. The real Billy. Well, in fact, let me start with him since you've mentioned him. I was very, very privileged. I really counted it as a big privilege to have been given an opportunity to present a paper at the Borden Symposium, and then I went through the process, of course, of finalizing the proofs on the article that I wrote. Okay. I was roped in by him, really, and it's a very Mr. Billy Adam is what you call. The late Congressman John Lewis used to call it good trouble. He gets into a lot of what is called good trouble. And I have to agree with really everybody, but from far back on the show, as when Miss Teresa was on, when she said that he's such an encyclopedia of knowledge, I learned a lot from him about not just about Cayman, but also about international politics, strategic thinking, and things like that. I was very privileged, therefore, since he's a member of the committee who to bring me on. About Mr. Roy Borden himself, who I worked with when I first worked with him when he was Minister of Education, and he was piloting the employment law, which again I was privileged to draft and to be associated a little bit with him there, Joy Basteo and the other people who were working in the ministry. I would recommend, let me just do a plug now for the book as well as for Dr. Borden.
Sure.
Anybody who's new to the Cayman Islands or still continues to want to learn something about the Cayman Islands, I would recommend to them the book Cayman Islands in Transition, which I read cover to cover, as well as the book on patronage and politics in Cayman, which I read cover to cover as well. And then I would recommend this one as well, because I attended remotely the symposium. I learned a lot myself, although I was a presenter as well. It really covers a lot of territory. My own little contribution was something relating to the judiciary and the Attorney General, which is a topic a lot of people don't want to touch. I apologize for that little ringing in the back. I can't switch it off.
That's okay, no problem.
I'm about to finish. I wrote about the accountability in the judiciary. I wrote about accountability of the Office of the Attorney General in a lot of areas where people are afraid really to discuss them. And I think it will give a lot of perspective to those who want to learn something about that and to see whether it can be improved. In particular, I really think that there's need to to improve the way in which you complain against judges. And I was inspired to write that article because of my appeal, which is coming up on the 31st of August in the Court of Appeal, where I have sued a judge, Mr. Ian Kawali. I have sued him, and I have sued him because there are certain institutions which were not able to deal with what my grievances were. But I think that should, I hope, lead to research into further how to improve the judiciary and the AG's office. Thanks very much. I'm going to say other things, like I've read some of the other works which have been edited by Dr. Fullerton Cooper and Dr. Livingstone and so on, but I'll stop there today. I just feel very good that this book will be launched next week. Good. Thanks very, very much.
Thank you very much, Billy. All the best to you. Stay safe as well. We're going to take a commercial break. Folks, when we return, the conversation will continue with Mr. Mario Ebanks, Dr. Livingston Smith, and Dr. Stephanie Fullerton Cooper. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross now at Vant Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vant Motors, Walkers Road.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
With Logic, you get more things you do want, like faster fiber internet, more TV, entertainment, and better customer service. And you get less of the things you don't want, like waiting, boredom, and disappointment. More of the good, less of the bad. It just makes sense. Or should I say, it's logical. See what I did there? Call us or go to logic.ky to find out how you could be getting way more of what's good.
Workforce Opportunities and Residency Cayman are reminding customers that applications must be completed in full or they will not be accepted. In efforts to improve customer service and processing time, only fully completed applications will be accepted. Customers are responsible for providing the required information for the application to be processed and are encouraged to review the application checklist before submission. For guidance, visit www.worc.ky.
For the record with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have the pleasure of having in the studio with us some members of the Committee for the Promotion of Research and Cayman Scholarship. They are Dr. Livingston Smith, Dr. Stephanie Fullerton Cooper, Mr. Mario Ebanks. Ms. Teresa Pitcairn was in the studio with us earlier as well. And you have heard from some of the contributors to the essays in honor of J.A. Roy Borden. They have all been now compiled, and we now have a publication called The Cayman Islands History, Politics, and Society. That book has been edited by Dr. Livingston Smith and Dr. Stephanie Fullerton Cooper. And can someone remind us about the launch, about the speakers, the whole event that is taking place next week? Mr. Mario.
Sure, yes. So the launch of the book, The Cayman Islands History, Politics, and Society, Essays in Honor of J.A. Roy Borden, takes place next Tuesday, the 14th of June at 5:30 p.m. at the Sir Vassal Johnson Hall at UCCI. and it's going to be a great event. We'll have Dr. Fullerton Cooper as the Master of Ceremonies. We'll obviously have the formalities of the national song. We'll have remarks also by our presenters. Some of our sponsors, actually, the Deputy Premier, Minister for Education, Minister for Culture, Minister for Tourism, and then, as we mentioned earlier, they will have the performance of cats by the UCCI dancers. So it's going to be a great event, and we want to invite people to come out to it, to engage the authors, the guest speaker, and also to purchase the book. So that's a plug for our launch event, and we're very happy as a committee to bring this kind of event to the Cayman social calendar. We're very dynamic, our social calendar and social fabric, but this kind of high-level intellectual presentation and event is also one that is dynamic. So we want to encourage people to come out next Tuesday.
Okay. Dr. Cooper, Fullerton Cooper, before we go back to you, we do have another caller in hold, so we're going to grab the caller first. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Moderator. Good morning to Dr. Fullerton Cooper and Dr. Smith and budding Dr. Mario.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Thank you very much for this program this morning and for enlightening our public regarding the formative years of our written history and our written culture. I think we are privileged to be in an era right now in Cayman, witnessing, touching the people who speak and write. And these are our early writers, which will historically be recorded as the pioneers of our written history in going forward. And we are now just taking our place in our Caribbean society as one of those countries who have done so, like Barbados and Jamaica, Trinidad, Guyana, and a number of other Caribbean territories. Our early history was so preoccupied with living through hardship and making ends meet that we spoke but we didn't write. And it is wonderful now to see people taking the time out to capture what has been spoken and make sure that it becomes a living testament into the future. Dr. Fullerton, as a mature student, I hope there's no barrier. I would love to be able to be a student in your class.
I'd love to welcome you as a student in my class.
By what is going on at our university, and people with our chronological age should tune in, because it would make us younger by just going to school and participating and contributing. But I'd like to commend our group, your roundtable this morning, for speaking to our noble scholar, Mr. Roy Bodden. He has done remarkably well. He has paid significant a price, but it has been worth it. And he has basically fertilized a garden of budding writers who are going to be burdened in their crop yield of Cayman, intellectual Cayman. So thank you very much for all that you're saying today. Every word is remarkably important and a morsel that basically fulfills who we are as people. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, caller, for that.
And thank you. I definitely would like to invite you to my class. Fertilize the garden of budding authors. The metaphor resonates with just this wealth of expression that I would more than welcome. So thank you for those thoughts. You know, other than coming to hear Mr. Bodden and reading his chapter in the text, I just wanted to emphasize that we really have an impressive lineup of contributors in this text. You heard recently from Billy Kasimamba, and we have talked about the inclusion of the Honorable Mary Lawrence. We've talked about Mario E. Banks's own chapter. I just want to let us know that we also have PhD candidate Lorraine Bob Stewart, soon to be Dr. Bob Stewart, who has also spoken about this whole idea of the colonizer and using various post-colonial styles. Bodden writes back, she says, in post-colonial style. We have contributions from Thomas Phillips from a prominent university overseas. We had a contribution from a gentleman from Yale University. You know, this symposium attracted a number of impressive presenters, and they are now impressive authors and contributors to this work. So I want to just emphasize that, you know, I have to mention to Ian Randall, who also has a chapter in this work. He is the publisher. It is his publishing house that made this possible. And he is also the leading publisher for most of Roy Bodden's work. So we have a truly impressive lineup of contributors. A few of them will be on hand to sign books. And so we really want to invite you to come out next week. And if I could just quickly, OC, just comment on something we talked about earlier about having writer's block. And I chuckled to myself because Mr. Bodden says he at times has writer's block, yet he went on to tell us about four different publications in the works. And I am proud to say that he has given me permission to look at some of his unpublished works, and I'm going to be presenting them at a sociological conference next week. So we are not just promoting the local writers locally, but we're going on to international stages and also talking about our local writers. I'm talking about Frank McField as well in that particular presentation. So it's not just Mr. Bodden who we want to make people know who are writing and really interrogating the Cayman society. I'm sure Dr. Smith will tell us a little bit more about that conference next week, because we also have a panel from Cayman. Cayman is being represented in academia on an international stage, and we're so proud of that.
Excellent, excellent. Good to hear. We have another caller on hold. Let's grab that caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Ocean. Good morning to your panel.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning.
Very, very good.
Good morning.
You know, I'm extremely proud to see that this venture has taken place. Too often, we've cried out for, you would say, our history, and no one has, you would say, ventured to come forward, except for, well, there's a couple of them. Dr. Steve is one of them, and also who you would say honoring in the terms of his writings, Dr. Roy Bodden. I have grown up knowing Mr. Bodden, so we grew up in the same district, and I am extremely proud of his writings. Also on your last caller, you know where Aniki got her talks from, because trust me, Mr. Brown himself, I mean,
he's a poet.
He's a remarkable man.
Yes, he is.
And you know, like I commented before, him and his wife, Dr. Hazel, have raised two impeccable kids, and I've watched them grow from birth. With that said, Dr. Roy's books are so interesting. I mean, if you pick them up, you can't put them down. And you know, I know you would say where he came from, where he grew up, and everything, because I grew up in the same area. Well, when I say area, Bodden Town. And you know, they always say, I mean, not they always, the Bible says no prophet is honored in his own country. Well, I would like that Roy is honored, because trust me, he has took up the mantle that no one else ventured to do. And yes, it stepped on many corns, and rightly so, it has to. And also he spoke and mentioned in his phone call there a while ago about Miss Mira Lawrence. She is also a remarkable woman, and needs to put her stuff on document so that we, the younger generation, well, I call myself younger, but I mean, I'm getting up there, you know, can have this, and our kids and grandkids and future generations, because all we hear about in our schools and so forth is other people's culture and history.